the thoughts of death, I don't like to dwell on them for longer than like 10 or 15 hours a day. So
this special was me trying to just not have any kind of artifice or filter when it came to the material. Now, when it came to my spray tan and my outfit and my hair extensions, that was fake as hell. Hello, I'm Nikki Glaser, writer, creator, producer of the comedy special Someday You'll Die. And this is Variety's Making a Scene.
I gotta have a plan. And I do have a plan, because I always forget I'm gonna kill myself. I always,
I've been working on Someday You'll Die and the material in this special for a while. I would say since the week after I taped my last special, Good Clean Filth. I felt like I was kind of alone in this pursuit of like having a message that was overall pretty depressing and not having any like sugarcoating going on. But I actually felt really good. I heard this Olivia Rodrigo song called Pretty Isn't Pretty. I can't believe a 17-year-old wrote a song that I connected to so much. A beautiful 17-year-old, but she's talking about how like, no matter how much you try, you're never going to be pretty enough. It's never going to be enough. Nothing you ever do will change that. And it's just depressing. And that's just the way it is. And I was waiting in this song for some kind of like moment where she was like, but it's inside you that matters. And it's your heart and everyone you love. But there was none of that. It's just like, it sucks. And this is the way it is. And it's only going to get worse. And I just was like, fuck yeah. Like, I hate that I finally had to feel like good about my messaging because I heard an Olivia Rodrigo song that had the same kind. It did make me feel better that I was on the same track as her and that it's okay to look at things that way. You don't always need to soften everything. Sometimes things just do suck.
but that's the thing about death. It has to happen. We all know it. And I don't like that I just have to wait and see like, what's gonna happen? How am I gonna go? You know?
I think ultimately it's about acceptance, you know? And I think that is actually the cure to anything that comes up in my life is not trying to change it, is not trying to fight it. It's just accepting that I get depressed, not trying to fight it, accepting that my face is falling, accepting that my boobs are falling, accepting that someday I'm going to die, accepting that I'm going to lose my fertility, accepting that I'm going to lose all my friends because they're going to have babies. Like just instead of just fighting it and being upset about it, just accept it. And maybe that will make it better. I didn't want to have some kind of like overall message of like aging sucks, but at least there's wisdom involved, or someday you'll die, but at least we get this beautiful life. Like it really was. Let's just joke about the darkest things going on and let me not pull any punches. Let me go as dark as I can and really represent how it feels right now as a woman pushing 40 in show business, feeling like my best days are behind me and not trying to soften it at all. It was really accepting myself for my dark thoughts, which has always been something that I've struggled with. I feel bad that I'm depressed because I have a great life on paper. I feel bad that I am jealous of other girls because compared to some girls, I have it great. You know, like I'm constantly feeling bad about feeling bad. And this was just me being able to say, I feel bad and I can't help it. And I'm not going to lie about feeling bad. I think the best version of what I have to give is me trying to be as me as possible, even though that is ironic because I don't like myself so often.
I'm a DIY kind of gal, you know? Like, I want to get crafty. I want to go to a Michael's and pick out some sturdy yarn, crochet a noose. I don't know.
I was trying to look as hot as possible because I'm peaking and who knows when I'll have this much money to spend on lighting and a makeup and wardrobe team the rest of my life. I always use those opportunities to look my best. But I think it's a nice juxtaposition with the material and then someone who looks so shiny and glamorous. I think that's almost funny. So those heels were not painful, thank God. But the interesting part about heels on stage is I cannot wear heels outside of a stage performance at all because they hurt my feet so bad because I have such bad bunions. But for some reason, when I'm performing, they don't hurt at all. And I think that reason is adrenaline because the second I step off stage, I rip them off my feet like they're bear traps. Like they hurt so much, but my feet are literally, I don't feel any pain while I'm performing. It's very strange. It's just nice on nights like that when you're taping a special to really treat yourself like a pop star. I really look up to celebrities, and I always wanted to be a famous actress or a famous singer, and I'm not. I'm a comedian, but on those days where I get to tape a special and it's all about me and I have the resources to make me look like that kind of starlet I've always wanted to be, I seize the opportunity. And I definitely get some shit for it, and have been probably criticized for like, it's not about your dress, Nikki, and you shouldn't look so hot because it's distracting from the material. I'm not trying to distract anyone. I just want to be a pop star for a day. Let me.
I can't feel my medications. I'm at home under the spell. I wish awful things on strangers just because they're doing well.
I have always wanted to be a singer-songwriter, and I just have never tried because it's one of those things that like I think I'm good at it, but if I try and then I fail, then it like ruins this dream I have of myself. So I'd always wanted to do that, but then instead I was just like, I'll just be a comedian because that's comes easier to me and doesn't seem as scary. I was eating like a sweet green salad, and I was like, what if I just wrote my own song? And my boyfriend was like, you should. And I was like, oh, damn it. Like, now I have to. I just said to myself, okay, imagine you're like a singer-songwriter and a comedian who has an HBO special asked you to write a song for the credits. You're going to turn that down? So I just looked at myself not as Nikki Glaser, the comedian writing a song. Like, I'm Nikki Glaser, the musician, and I just got hired by this comedian to write a song, and it just poured out of me. It was really easy. It was like, you know, the way you hear about singer-songwriters writing a song, and it's like, it just took like 15 minutes. Like, it literally took 15 minutes with my guitar to write that song. It was so gratifying. And have I written a second song? No. Do I want to? Yes. Am I terrified it won't happen again? Yes. At least I can say I did it once and I wrote a really good song. So I guess I'll just keep writing songs for specials is what I'll do until I have the balls to actually like write an album, which is a goal of mine.
I always knew I would be a mom. They have to say it with that ethereal, breathy, condescending tone.
The whole chunk about being a mom really came from all of my best girlfriends suddenly wanting to be moms. When I was writing the special, I was 38, 39, and that's pretty late for like all my girlfriends to be moms. All my girlfriends took a while to arrive at the decision to be moms, but it happened all at once. I have 3 of my best girlfriends right now are pregnant, and leading up to this special, they were all trying to get pregnant. And it was the only conversation that seemed to be happening in our girls' chat. And I felt really left out, honestly. I felt like, what's wrong with me that not only is this not even something that I'm slightly interested in, like I have zero desire to be a mom. And like, what's wrong with me? I said it's the only time that I've ever related to people who don't like Taylor Swift, because they're like, what is this thing that everyone seems to get that I don't? And I relate to that feeling now because of like this desire to be a mom. And I just started asking my friends, I was like, I just need to know why. Why do you want to be a mom? Like, I really want to understand it. And that really inspired a lot of this material because I was starting to understand that my girlfriends were looking for purpose in life. And that I wasn't, because I have this career that I'm obsessed with that really gives me a lot of dopamine rushes all the time. So like I'm constantly on this drug that makes me feel amazing and horrible and amazing again. Like I'm constantly up and down, and I'm never kind of like going, what am I doing with my life?
I don't see women becoming moms and going, I'm gonna go volunteer in a soup kitchen. I'm gonna go build a home in Honduras. No, you're just feeding Cheerios to something that looks like you.
Now I'm finding a really fun new avenue in my stand-up, kind of delving into this even more of why people really want kids. And essentially it's because we're genetically predisposed to want to make more of us. And it really is a selfish thing. And that's my favorite thing in the special that I just started, I dipped my toe in, is calling out how having kids is selfish. And no matter what way you slice the dough, it is selfish. You want something that looks like you. And denying it at all is lying to yourself. Like that really is what it is. And it's nothing wrong with it. We're supposed to want that. It's like in our biology to want that, but it doesn't make you selfless, which I get into in the special. But obviously I'm a selfish person. I'm standing on stage asking people to pay money to hear me talk. So I understand a selfish, narcissistic desire, but I'm tired of pretending that it's not there because you are a parent and that you're somehow more, righteous than me. We're all just wanting attention and wanting me. You just are making you, and I'm making you look at me. It's the same thing.
But to be a good mom is hard. To be a bad mom, that's as easy as being a great dad. That's what that
The joke about dads came from a place of talking to my male comedian friends who were also of my age and kind of struggling with the idea of balancing a career with fatherhood, and them trying to kind of connect with me or maybe commiserate with me with my decision to not want to be a mom, and saying like, yeah, I don't really know if I want to be a dad. And like, I remember one of them being like, I know it's crazy, but like, I think I want to be a dad. And I was like, oh, like, yeah, I would too. It's like, I would love to be a dad. Like, I think that's what it came from, is like, it seems a lot easier to be a dad. And I'm not, like, I wanted to emphasize, like, I'm not mad at men. I'm not like, men, you should be like moms, because we don't, it just isn't the way it is.
And I know there are some dads that do just as much as moms, and it's because your wife is dead. That's probably why.
I think that joke wasn't working when I was just kind of being annoyed with dads for it being easy and being jealous of them and just telling dads what a cakewalk it was. And I was trying to find like the center of that joke, to really like the thesis of it that made it undeniable, where they couldn't just see like this angry woman on stage, that it really would resonate. And I think that was the nucleus, was that a good dad equals a bad mom. And I think that was when it just really hit, and it didn't just seem like I was just a resentful woman up there complaining about the patriarchy. To make my material about my frustration with the patriarchy palatable for men is something that I actually take great effort in doing. I really like men, and I like that they enjoy my humor. And I think that I have a very masculine sense of humor a lot of times that is lost on some women. So as much as I want to appeal to the girlies, and I want girlies to enjoy me, I don't want that to sacrifice men hearing me. It's like a fine balance. I hate that I even have to strike it. And it's not me saying like men have to be catered to and talked down to so that they can appreciate it because women are so harpy. It's they can't help that they don't want a woman screaming at them. It's hard to do, and I don't always nail it, but I think I did in this bit.
I've like always known I was gonna kill myself. Like I just like always known.
My parents have dealt with my kind of suicidal threats and talks like my whole life. I was, I almost died of anorexia, which is really to me just like a slow suicide. And they've dealt with my depression. We don't really talk about it as a family because that's kind of, well, that's probably why I'm depressed. It's like we don't talk about things. So stand up for me really is a way to express to my family and loved ones like what I'm struggling with, and just express myself, because I don't feel like I can talk about those things because people don't generally understand. The joke that is in the special about my mom saying people don't want to hear you talking about blowing your head off is a true thing that she said, which is always my mom's biggest concern, is not that her daughter is concerned with killing herself, but that her daughter is going to offend the audience about killing herself. I think stand-up is ultimately just a rebellion to my upbringing, which is like, just present nice, and it doesn't matter what you feel, just make sure everyone else feels good. And I am doing this thing that makes people uncomfortable, but it's also making them like me. It's like showing my parents that the thing they told me I could never do, not only could I do, but I can be very successful doing it. And people actually will like me more because I do it. And, my mom classically goes to my shows, and she's just like backstage, and she'll always just say to me, Nikki, I cannot believe all of these people love you so much. Like that's, she loves me so much, but she can't believe other people do too.
It'll be so far in the future. You'll hear about it, I swear to God, and you'll go, wait, who?
I think that there's at least a precedent for if I ever do want to get help, that there's like, okay, there's been a steady amount of this sprinkled throughout her life. Like, I don't ever want to kill myself. It is something that I continually struggle with thinking about and have never had a plan or even close to a plan. But I don't think it should shock anyone if it happens to me. Like, if you look at Anthony Bourdain, you look at all of his books and he talks about killing himself like hundreds of times. He references it in his show and in his writing. And yet we were all shocked it happened. Like, to me, I'm leaving a lot of evidence for if it does happen. I don't want it to. I do everything in my power to not make it happen. If I was a betting woman, I'd say that is not how I'm going to go. But again, like, I have that illness that makes my brain go there, whereas other people could never imagine thinking thoughts like that. It is where my brain goes. My desire is just to like let that out as much as possible because it takes some of the pressure off from keeping it in. When we are able to talk about depression as a disease, like the way we talk about cancer, and to actually have compassion and feel sorry and not feel so like angry at people that seem to have it, and like that, it will result in a lot less people doing it, because all people need who are depressed and suicidally depressed are compassion and understanding. They don't need like, stop saying those crazy things. You're not going to do that. Don't do that. Oh, stop talking like that. Like, that's the last thing we need, which is usually the first thing we get. Well, I can't help that I have this thing. It's just as chronic as Aunt Sally's back pain. Why can't I talk about it? In fact, I think the fact that I can't is going to lead me to do it someday. And so, yeah, that's always my goal, I think, is just to talk about speak about the unspeakable. I found with this special that I was really able to tap into some places that no one else has tapped into yet, and no one else has said these kinds of things. And I think that's really what a comedy special can do, is just create conversations and change the way people perceive something, and just challenge hypocrisy, or just make things more conversational that seemed before the special to be something that's like too shameful to even talk about.
I think I might have to just blow my head off. I know it's rough, but it's quick, and guns are easier to get in this country than compassion. So what am I supposed to do?